Welcome back to the table of ranking. Um, the end of August, one of my most anticipated games, not of the year, not even like of the past few years, but of the past like 10 years, is coming out. No More Heroes 3. Very excited for No More Heroes 3. So I thought in celebration, I would rank Suda 51 games. Wow. Um, Something to note is that I won't be including certain games that I haven't played before, like Diabolical Pitch and Contact will not be here, and also the ones based on like Blood Plus and Samurai Champloo, and whatever else, or the pro wrestling games. These are just the games that are primarily developed by um, Grasshopper that I've played. So sorry if I missed some. I will get to them eventually. And there's three of them I had to substitute, and I'll explain why in each one. The first one is actually a substitution. The first one is actually Let It Die, the free-to-play PS4 title. And I want to note, I don't dislike any of these games. So this Let It Die being on the bottom doesn't mean it's a bad game, but being a free-to-play Dark Souls-like game, I found it to be um I don't know. I feel like I think they blocked progression maybe a little too much, incentivized spending money a little too much. I get that's like the whole free to play model is. I think that's why it's on the bottom for me, is because I don't really play a lot of free to play games. So to take its place, I will have Metalhead on the 32X be on the bottom. Sorry, Metalhead, you're great. You are Let It Die today. Next up, this one actually might surprise you. Is included this because it has differences, and I want to talk about that. No More Heroes, Heroes Paradise. This is the PS3 remake of the first No More Heroes with HD graphics, PlayStation Move support, and they threw in some boss fights and DLC stuff from 2 and some extra DLC and stuff. Now, the issue with this game is that it's a bad port. It's handled very poorly. Frame rate's terrible. It's got a lot of graphical hiccups. It's just not a good port. I see what they're trying to do, but I feel like maybe they did it on a very low budget. I did play through this one a few times. I would say honestly, like if this is all you had, it's not terrible, but it doesn't come close to playing the Wii original. And now that the original is on Switch, there is no reason to play Heroes Paradise. Next up is Killer is Dead. This is like from the era of hands-off Suda games, and we'll get through those pretty quick, actually. But it still has some of that Suda feel to it. It definitely has great combat. Um, it's so low for me because the story's pacing is very off. It feels like they wanted to do so much more than maybe time constraints, and they had to just tie it all up. And the story is not why you play this game. The music's great. The visuals look fantastic, and yeah, like I said, the combat's awesome. They also worked in some really terrible stuff with the I forgot what they're called, but you have to like seduce ladies to get power ups. I don't think that should have been there. But overall, this game's pretty fun. Next up, we have Lollipop Chainsaw. I actually bought this day one when it came out. I was so excited for this game. I still have a poster somewhere for this game too. My issue with this is that it's too short. Great game, great combat, great dialogue, great jokes, great music. It's just too short. It's like 5 levels long. I think if they maybe amped it up to like, yeah, I don't know, 10 levels or even like 7 levels, I'd be a little more forgiving. But I felt like this game was over before it had a chance to get started. But the game's a pretty fun game. I mean, who doesn't want to play as a cheerleader and chop up zombies? So next up, we have, and I'm putting this one here because I haven't beat it, so I can't comment on it too much. But this is the 25th Ward, the Silver Case, the second Silver Case game, and like I said, I haven't finished this one, so I can't comment too much on it. So that's why it's lower. But I can say that I don't like it as much as the first Silver Case so far. That's definitely for sure. I think that has to do with it being like a phone game originally, and then they did some other stuff to it. But if you like visual novel style games, you should check out this and the first one, which we'll see later. They're still very interesting games. Next up, this is one that I don't have a copy of because I have a DS R4 cart and I pirate all my original DS games. Don't tell anybody. So in its place, we will have Mortal Kombat 2 returning to sub in Flower, Sun, and Rain. Really interesting game on the DS. One that I also need to finish, but I've had a lot of fun with what I've played, so it's going to go there as well. Next up, we have probably where I don't want to say the dark age of Suda games started, but where he started taking more of a hands-off approach to a lot of his stuff. This is Shadows of the Damned, work on by Suda51. Also, I believe Shinji Mikami? Yeah, Shinji Mikami and that guy, or gal, whoever that is, I think it's a guy, but they did the music for Silent Hill. Of course, Shinji Mikami, Resident Evil 4, all kinds of Capcom stuff. Suda, Suda. So it's like it's interesting to play because it like tries to merge Resident Evil 4 with a Suda game, and it works for the most part. I do like this game. There's a few areas that could have been cleaned up, and some jokes get a little whatever, but like overall I think this game is pretty awesome. Next up, we have No More Heroes 2. Surprising this is here. I used to fucking love this game. I think it's a little lower. I think my appreciation has decreased over time. The roster of characters of the assassins aren't as great as the first games. The combat's great, but the Shinobu levels where you play as Shinobu Jacobs, she controls like ass. I don't like playing as her. There she is. Those levels. I was actually just playing those levels on the Switch version the other day, and I was like, man, that's bad. And also taking away the free roaming aspect kind of makes the game feel a lot shorter than the first game. I fucking loved this game for the absurd stuff whenever I was younger, and I still do like that stuff, but as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate the first game a little more. Here we have the original silver case. This is the one you should play. Kill the past. That's important. This game is fantastic. If you want to play a great visual novel, definitely give this a go. Warning, you need to pay attention because there's a lot of characters and there's a lot of story, and this game is it's really attentive. This is not a game you could just come home from a hard day's work and grab a beer and zone out. You have to pay attention while playing this game, but it is a fantastic title. I would love to do a video on this game one day. This is the last one I have to substitute. I don't have a copy of Killer 7. Why is that? Whenever I was younger, a friend of mine had it, and I played his copy a lot. Never acquired one of my own. If I get one, I want a GameCube copy because the PS2 copy plays like ass. But I can play it on Steam now, so I have to use another 32X game. Shadow Squadron will be the Killer 7. Killer 7's like where Suda really took off, here at least. My god, it's a fucking great game. Killer 7 is so interesting that Capcom let him just run wild and do what he wanted to do, and this story is so interesting with the concepts, and there's just so much to dive into. That's a game that I would also want to do a video on. Not use Shadow Squadron, even though I probably will do a video on Shadow Squadron one day, but Killer 7. We got 2 more games. Let's see. Number 2, this one is going to be a shocker. It's not number 1, is No More Heroes. This is one of my favorite games of all time. This got me into Suda51. This was my original copy from back when I got it on the Wii. Look, it's a little torn stuff. I played the hell out of this game. Played so much of this game. I know this game inside and out. I love the characters. I love the combat. This game is just, every time I play it, it surprises me with something I've never noticed before. It's one of those games that I can play over and over again. It's in my top 10 games of all time. And you're asking, if I say that's top 10 of all time, what is number 1 here? This one is one that surprised me, and wow, that's one of my favorite games of all time. The next one I think is my favorite Suda game. Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. That might be a little divisive. I know a lot of people, a lot of critics and people didn't understand or like this game. But man, as a Suda fan, this is like what I wanted. This was Suda's return. The narrative is out there, crazy, introspective. It's got dungeon crawling elements. It's got visual novel elements. Interesting combat. It's got co-op, great soundtrack. It's just overall a super great game. This was like one of the first games I picked up on my Switch because I had to have this. So yeah, it's not really a third No More Heroes game. It's a spin-off game, but man, if you're skipping this and going from No More Heroes 2 to 3, you're doing yourself a disservice because there's so much growth with Travis in this game, and it's just there's so much here. Fantastic game. So that was my Suda 51 ranking. Like I said, missed a couple. I really need to play Contact. I don't really want to play Diabolical Pitch because that was a Kinect game or whatever. But Contact looked cool. Let me know what your Suda games are. Is it, let me just hit one at random. Is it Shadows of the Damned? This game's actually pretty good, so it could be.